I don't know if you guys have seen, but JP Morgan came out and said something. They commented about what was going on in El Salvador. So El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender. We all know this. We've talked about it. Everyone's talked about it. But what people aren't talking about is that this really opens the door for many countries right now. Many countries, they have like a door open for them saying, look, El Salvador was the first country struggling economically, not in the best of positions, but they moved to Bitcoin as they made Bitcoin legal tender. And now it's like other countries can look at them and say, we can use them as an example. They did it, it's working, it's not working, and we could go ahead and do it as well. So a lot of people are very nervous about the impacts of this long term. I personally think that what happened with Bitcoin in El Salvador is a great move. I think it's smart for El Salvador. They're not the biggest economy in the world by any means. They are struggling economically. And one of their concerns, like there are positives and negatives, but one of their concerns was issues with US regulators making a change and potentially negatively impacting the economy in El Salvador. And what they do is now that with a Bitcoin as legal tender, they said that essentially they're still going to accept the US dollar. US dollar is still accepted everywhere, but they're going to also mandate that Bitcoin can be accepted anywhere for all economic activity. The upside to this is that, yes, there's a limited supply of Bitcoin. We know there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin ever in existence. Like, there's a lot of things we already know are going to be set in place with Bitcoin. Obviously, the price fluctuates, but we know the basics of Bitcoin, the underlying aspects of it. The problem with this is that in this JP Morgan report, they explain how it might have unintended consequences of laws and regulations that significantly predate and understandably did not anticipate cryptocurrency. For example, they said it might make it a little bit harder to negotiate, or they said it could imperil negotiations with the IMF. So there are a couple of issues that could pop up if they go solely and only into Bitcoin. How are other countries going to treat El Salvador? How are they going to treat Bitcoin moving forward? That now it is like a country's currency. What is that going to mean moving forward? So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But me personally, I think it was a good move by El Salvador. I think we're going to see a lot more countries now, in what many people are calling Bitcoinization. I think we're going to see a lot more countries actually go ahead and allow Bitcoin and pass Bitcoin to be legal tender. Whether they're struggling economically, maybe we'll see some bigger countries do it as well. I think at first we'll see smaller countries, developing nations that maybe aren't in the best and most sound positions economically. Down the road, we'll probably see more and more larger economies do it, but at first we're going to start off with the smaller ones. We'll see how that probably goes, and that the bigger countries are going to look towards those to say, how did it work out? What happened? Because it's not just going to be a switch immediately, but even for El Salvador, not going to be a switch immediately. But it is something that is on a lot of people's minds, has a lot of positives, a lot of negatives, and we'll just have to wait and see how it actually plays out.